as you guys know, I am making a video game, which is a very expensive endeavor. And one of the biggest expenses is the artwork. So when I commission an artist, I have to pay all the way up to $400 with commercial release. But you would think, well, at least that is tax deductible, right? Well, no, because according to Romanian legislation, when I get an invoice, it needs to have that person's real name, their real address, as well as their social security number or something of that equivalent. You can imagine that most artists are not willing to give that up, especially when you're doing business on the internet. Like when you're doing business in real life, which is what most of these tax codes were initially set up to do, that's different. But when you commission, let's say, a French guy to draw for you, like him giving away your social security number, not gonna happen. So because of that, I have to operate at a loss. Like, I'm paying a lot of taxes. Everything that I commission cannot be deduced. So I thought that this is normal. But no, apparently it's not normal. In fact, when the same system is being applied to Japan, people are protesting about it. Now, obviously, I don't think that the Japanese government is going to take a Change.org petition seriously. However, the fact that they reached 500,000 signatures in a short amount of time shows just how many people are caring about it. So, the Japanese government wanted to increase the tax revenue that it's getting. And they passed a law which, unironically, is not to protect the children. But instead, it's a law that's supposed to target the construction companies. And again, like when you're dealing with construction, it makes sense because you're face-to-face with the person. You can ask for their ID. Like, it's completely different than when you do business with people online and you're operating under pseudonyms. Now, a lot of Japanese artists, they get harassed constantly on the Twitter. And we're not even talking about artists who draw children in anime. No. We're talking about like actual artists that draw something like Uzaki-chan. Or that do anything that inconveniences a Westerner. Like for example, if they draw the new Ariel White, they get harassed. So obviously they do not want to have like their real name and their address associated with that, right? But in order for them to earn revenue, they have to issue these invoices, and the people that are consenting to these invoices have to give away their real name, their social security number, and many people will not be willing to do that. Now, the problem is that apparently 20% of the Japanese industry regarding anime and artists have claimed that they cannot operate under these conditions. Which means that the people who are remaining are going to have to increase their prices exponentially. It means that it's going to be incredibly difficult to afford to have art coming from Japan if this law is allowed to go forward. In other words, the things you like might have to go away. So there are a lot of Westerners that I see cheering about this, but take into account this is a Japanese law. It's not a Western law. But I see people on Twitter genuinely ecstatic over the fact that Japanese artists have to close up shop, which is very telling, isn't it? It's very interesting, like the mindset. They legitimately think that all of us are going to start watching Disney and Netflix now because Japan is going to have issues having animes and mangas and having artists that are hired as freelancers and commissioned to do various projects. But anyway, right, apparently according to the Change.org petition, they would like to report, that this person met with Mr. Fumiko Kishida, Secretary of the Prime Minister, and handed over 9,229 pens gathered at #stop. Protest against an invoice system that undermines diverse work styles and culture. Basically, like, they are trying to organize more than the Change.org petition. They're trying to actually do stuff in real life in order to prevent this from happening. Honestly, I would love if we could see similar activism in the West. To get lessons from Japan and democracy is like a slap on the face for us, right? Like we should be the ones that would give lessons in democracy to other nations. But no, like we actually notice how things are done now. They don't like this legislation. They're doing activism. They're contacting various people in power, like the secretary to the prime minister, and they're doing this campaign by handing pens. And apparently, the next goal is 100 million pens. So the Invoice system launched, overcoming the voices of the opposition. However, after the system was launched, various problems that arise with invoices will occur in concrete places. We will continue to collect signatures until the day we can say stop invoice. I like to make the voices against the invoice even louder, and when the right number and the time comes, I would like to hand over online signatures to the Prime Minister again. So apparently, one of the problems is the taxation, right? So it is a tax burden. They apparently are targeting people who have annual sales of 1,000 million yens or less. Up until now, they didn't have to pay, but with the new invoice system, their expenses are going up. So it's a system in which the private sector imposes consumption tax on each other. People who do small businesses with diverse work styles are going to be affected. But again, from what I gathered is the anonymity issue. I mean, no, seriously, as an American, can you imagine this nightmare scenario? That if you want to commission art from the internet and you want to use it for a business, then the artist has to give you his entire name, his private security number, his home address, and in exchange you have to do the same. Like you gotta give your SN, you gotta give your real, and not only that, right? Like when these transactions happen, usually it doesn't take long until all of the information gets leaked on the internet. Like, can you imagine the level of harassment and abuse that these artists are exposing themselves to just by continuing this? And I know, like, some artists that legitimately don't deserve it. And the people on Twitter, like, they're livid that they can't figure out where these artists are. Because, again, it's Japan. They don't have the same influence. It's the language barrier. But I guarantee to you, like, if it was out in the open and it was public information, oh my god. Oh my god. Now again, like a lot of people, they don't click, they claim that they don't care about Japanese art, and that's fine, you know. But if you're a fan of anime, then expect the industry not only to become more expensive, but expect fewer animes to happen in the future. It's going to be only the big companies that will be able to keep operating, while all the other smaller and independent companies are going to have a very difficult time moving forward. So hopefully this gets repealed. And I do have a feeling that it may actually be amended due to the fact that Japan does care a lot about anime. It is their way of exporting culture around the world. And this legislation wasn't supposed to target artists in the first place. So there is a high chance that they may actually either overturn it or make some exceptions for artists. I'm definitely positive on this. But in the meantime, let me know what you guys think, especially the Japanese subscribers that I have. I know there are a couple. And I'll be seeing you guys in the comment section. Take care.